How the heretics, I'm here with XJW Goats, and when I found her profile on Instagram, my first imperfect thought, we're still imperfect, was I wish I was single, because XJW Goats, it can't get better than that. So tell us your story. Why do you want to leave Jehovah's organization? Can't you feel the love? Can't you feel the love and the persecution and all of that? Why? Tell us.
I think it would be easier to say, why not? Everything. So many things. The child abuse, the shunning, the list is endless, I think, as to why.
So you're making these cartoons and put out on Instagram. So read what you say here and
so this, I think a lot of us can probably relate to it who grew up as witnesses. When I grow up, I want to be a singer, a chef, an artist, or maybe a teacher. But then, of course, oh, honey, I can't even read it. There's no point thinking of all that. Armageddon will be here before you get on.
You wanted to be a teacher, singer, chef, or artist?
Yeah, I wanted to be everything. But you couldn't. You had very little options with whatever would help you pioneer was your options.
Yeah. But was it anything in particular? Or was it just everything?
I think it changed. So I wanted to be a teacher for a long time. I am a teacher now, actually, but a tutor.
That's what I wanted to hear.
So it worked. But for a long time, I had different things. I love musical theatre, so I wanted to be in musical theatre when I was like a teenager. But teacher, I think, was always the main one. So
well, that's cool. Because I also had a billion things I wanted to do. One of them was actually I wanted to be goat farmer in Norway, but we're already talking too much about me. So tell us, how did your family end up in the superstition or the truth, as they say?
So my dad came into it when he was quite young. He was, I think, 10. And his mum started having a study, decided she wasn't interested, but she liked the idea of it for her sons. She had 3 sons. And so she was like, let them go to the meetings, let them have a study. And my dad was kind of in and out of the truth for a while. But then he got baptized and he was fully in it. And then my mom had the typical story of she was in her 20s. She was looking at different religions. She didn't know which one was the real God. She prayed, and apparently the next day, witnesses knocked on her door. So she was like, oh, because coincidences doesn't.
It can't be a coincidence.
No way. So that meant that Jehovah's Witnesses were the real religion. So she went fully in. She got baptized within, I think it's 6 months or something, from when she first started studying. 6 months after she was baptized. So she was
6 months?
6 months. Yeah.
Oh, that's fast.
I didn't think that was a thing that it would allow, but yeah.
Well, according to the Bible, you just have to pick up a hitchhiker and run by a lake. But that's the Bible. It's not the same as Jehovah Witnesses necessarily.
It's not. They don't go by that.
He picked up a hitchhiker, and then he was a member of the Watchtower Corporation.
How it works.
Okay, so you grew up with parents on both sides.
Yeah.
And did you this is a picture of you as a child?
Yeah. But you could be a regular pioneer or a missionary or even build some kingdom halls.
Yeah.
A child's dream.
Well, some children. I was one of these weird kids that loved being a Jehovah Witness because I was good at it, and that's the way my parents said they loved me if I was good at it, and I was good at it. Today I see a bigger picture, but I realize now that most kids are like you. They don't really like it. They don't enjoy it.
I didn't. I think I liked when I had friends. I had moments where I had friends in the religion. I liked it for the friends, but that was about it, really. I didn't like anything else.
field service, cleaning the toilet, all these privileged ladies can have?
No, surprisingly, cleaning the toilet, I didn't enjoy so much.
Yeah,
It wasn't the
you
dream.
know.
It wasn't so much musical theatre, you know, cleaning the toilet.
No. Have you ever had the privilege to clean the platform?
Yes, I have.
That's normally elder's wife get to do, so good for you.
I got in there with an elder, and he let me. I was adopted into his family, kind of. So he, along with his daughters, I could go up there and clean the.
Yeah, I remember that was a question up for debate in the local Kingdom Hall, if a sister could be cleaning the platform. And as a kid, I just said, of course, this has nothing to do with teaching. And I'm like, be quiet, child, we have to ask the governing body. And I'm like, well, that's
about cleaning. We're not even high enough to be able to clean a platform.
But I was a child and I realized, the Bible says they shouldn't teach and they are not teaching. So I grew up in an extremely legalistic congregation, and combination of being smarter than the grown-ups in an extremely what do you call it? When you're very concerned with the legislation, like the Pharisees, what do you call that?
Didn't remember words.
Okay, we're struggling with English,
which is hilarious.
So sorry to all our American viewers for our.
I'm English, but I still don't.
Don't tell them.
I mean, no, I'm not. I'm from somewhere else.
So what privilege did you have as a sister?
I did pioneer, a regular pioneer.
Yeah.
As soon as I left college, so when I was like 17, I started pioneering. Always hated it, but did it. It was kind of like you were meant to do it. So like with baptism, I got baptized because I was 16 and it's what people did. So I did it. And then when I finished college, it's what people did. So I pioneered. I just kind of went through the motions of what you're meant to do. Yeah, but I didn't enjoy it. I'm shy. I'm a lot better now. I'm not as shy at all as I used to be. But when I was younger, I was ridiculously shy. So to me, knocking on doors, even now I wouldn't be able to do it. But knocking on doors and like speaking to people was just didn't come natural at all for me. It was horrible.
Yeah. Like I've been living in this bubble that people love field service because I did it, and I never, no one is allowed to say I hate field service. So you never hear, in my life, I never heard the opposite anytime. And I actually loved field service. It was hard work. It was, but you have to do it. But it's first as a apostate, I start realizing that people don't like it. I am very big in any room. I'm really trying not to interrupt now. So let's go back to your story here. I'm using visual aids this time to keep myself down a little. Thanks for all the good advice. This is, you get to comment. That's the whole point of this exercise.
So is the paradise here? Yeah. So I used to do this when I was younger. I remember I would wake up and I would open my curtain because my parents have a lot of health issues. So my home life was quite difficult. So for them, like I always thought paradise, they'll be better. They'll have good health. Life will be a lot better. So every morning I would wake up. I mean, that's not how it would have worked, but I would wake up and I forgot about the whole Armageddon and people being destroyed thing. But I'd open the curtains and like, oh no, it's not here yet.
Did you believe it was like moving geographically, spreading?
Apparently. That's it. I don't know what I was expecting. I just thought I would go to sleep one night and then wake up and then there you go. There's tigers roaming around outside.
Yeah, so if there were a tiger in the garden, you would be like, hooray, let's run outside.
Yeah. Exactly. Good job that never happened. Imagine.
This religion is not harmful for children in any way. There's
Oh no, gets eaten alive by a tiger. I thought the paradise was here.
Tigers are not undangerous.
They're not.
Okay.
You can have one as a pet. That's my
Yeah,
dream.
I know a lot of kids believe that. I never thought that, so I thought those kids were stupid. But I think like paradise is a place. So it's like, why should we go to the convention this summer? Why can't we go to paradise instead? Just save time.
Just
Go
go right
straight to
there.
paradise instead of the convention.
That'd be great. They've changed it now. Like I enjoyed your video before about the new pictures of paradise and how different they are. Because when I was younger, it was animals and pet tigers, and you were petting a snake. And now it's just, it could be now.
You can get it's a huge difference between, it used to be supervised. How do you say it? Unsupervised. Sorry, my parents-in-law are here, and I've been speaking Russian and Polish the whole week, so I'm struggling with English all of a sudden. Unsupervised lion, and now it's a dog in a leash. And I started looking at all the Watchtower pictures, and they're actually changing the. Feel like a conspiracy theorist, but actually you can see the whole new light change in the pictures when you look at it.
Completely, and it's not the same. I can have a dog on a leash here in this world. What's the point?
Yeah. Would you believe me if I tell that I even found people with glasses in paradise, spectacles?
I would have left right there and then. That was the one thing I couldn't wait for. For me personally, I couldn't wait for my parents to be better. But I've had glasses since I was, I think, 10 or 9. So I couldn't wait to be able to like snap them and just be like, yeah. I would have been very upset about that.
Yeah. Nah, they're changing everything. Do you remember anything about the Golden Age paradise? The paradise that was before the pet lion paradise?
I don't think so.
It was Russell said, there will be the Russell Armageddon was really nice. It was just God taking control. And then 144,000 go to heaven, and then the rest people get to live on planet Earth, and everyone will be white, and everyone will gradually turn into a male. But
I've heard of this.
Yeah, but it will be a beautiful planet ruled by Caucasian males.
Wow.
But it was the proof that we were close to this was that all the things that were predicted in the Bible, like the vacuum cleaner, the typewriter, the airplane, studies in the scriptures, and so on. So it was like this technological marvel where human beings was in charge of technology, and we should use radiation to get better health. That was the first paradise, and then it turned into this, no, there should be no technology. It should be like this communist society where everyone just eat fruit and pet lions and do whatever they want with no rules and regulation. And now it's this futuristic society with a lot of infrastructures and dogs in a leash. It's 3 different paradises.
Yeah. I can remember because people would used to debate about it. Will there be cars in paradise? Will there be clothes in paradise? Like what will be allowed and what won't be allowed?
What did you think?
I actually don't know. I think I was one of those annoying people that were like, we don't know until we get there. Only Jehovah knows. So I don't think I really had an opinion so much.
Yeah.
But I like to think we'd have clothes.
Do you feel it's difficult? I don't know how to put the question, because if you felt that way, you were probably not aware of it. Is it more difficult to like express strong ideas of what's going to happen when you're a girl? Because as a boy, I was shot down for apostasy quite often, even if I had a really good argument based on the Bible that my father didn't understand because he was only 40 years old and I was 8. But he wasn't the smartest man alive. But did you feel like I'm a girl and should be extra quiet?
Oh yeah, definitely. I was like a perfect little witness girl as well. Like I didn't ask questions. I was very like if an elder said that I couldn't do something, I would just be like, oh, okay, sorry, and then do it. I was I was definitely like that. I didn't have many opinions. I think I just went with whatever elders or told me.
Yeah. And still, this is you.
This is me. This is. I think I've always had this thing where I thought I wasn't going to survive Armageddon, even if I was doing what was the right thing. I always had this fear in me that Armageddon was terrifying to me, absolutely terrifying. And I used to always get scared because they would say, I would picture death, like the final death, not surviving the Armageddon. And it would freak me out because obviously I was like, oh, it would be nothing. You'd be dead, so it'd be nothing. And then I'd just picture like blackness, and I'd be like, it wouldn't even be this because I can think right now. I would like be non-existent. And that used to just freak me out. I used to get panic attacks sometimes when I used to overthink it.
Yeah. It's difficult not to overthink it when you obsessed with it all the time, or talking about everything in a concept of life and death, life and death, life and death all the time.
You're constantly.
I guess all kids can overthink it.
It's true. And you're always reminded, like you see these photos, and everyone around me was like, oh, you won't finish school. Armageddon will be here before then. Oh, you won't start work. Armageddon will be here before then. And then I'm 25 and there's no Armageddon. We're still here.
Yeah. But kind of the point I'm making here is that you said you were a really good Jehovah Witness girl. And still you feel this.
And I was
kind of if there are any Jehovah Witness watching this, it's not cool to use fear tactics to scare children. It's not a healthy way of motivating. Even if you believe that your mythology is correct, and those that don't believe in your mythology will be murdered by Jesus, and you want to save your child from being murdered by Jesus, well, first you should talk to Jesus. But if you really don't have the balls to do that, don't scare your children. There are other ways of motivating them.
There is complete, and it's just fear.
Children.
It's not. Everything is based on fear. Everything. Even looking at the like convention program for this year, I've been watching different clips. Like everything is just fear based. It's not even about the Bible anymore. It's just instilling fear.
It's just getting stupider and stupider.
It is. It's ridiculous. I can't believe it. Every time I watch something, I'm just thinking it can't get any worse, and then I watch something else, and it gets worse.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was never afraid of Armageddon. I thought Jehovah will have the decency just to execute me nice and quiet. And then my parents said that they would forget me. So I was picturing them counting all the kids. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, all of them. But why do we have 5 beds? And they would look and say, this, I always start crying when I think this, but and they would look and say, oh, it seems like we had a boy about this size, a boy that wasn't good enough.
Nah, it's so messed up that I don't understand. Like, oh, it will be okay because you won't remember them. Is that better? Like
my mother used to say, it would be like you never existed.
It's just sad. Like, why? I'm an only child. I like to think that, I don't know, my parents are okay. We're not okay, maybe, but with the fact that they'll be in paradise and they'll just forget that they ever had a child.
Yeah, my mother used to talk about this a lot, probably because she loved her children and cared, but actually used to talk about it a lot. And she said, what if, my brain, kept spinning, and I kept, what if mommy survived Armageddon and daddy not? And mommy said, well, if maybe God will allow all the 5 children to survive Armageddon, but maybe he thinks that's too much for daddy, and he will kill 2 and 3 of them to make it easier on daddy. And like, And then they would be thinking about, well, if Daddy survive Armageddon, he will probably kill my younger sister and my younger brother, and he can just take the 3 oldest boys. Like, serious discussion. If God just would kill my baby sister and my baby brother to make it easier for my father the first 5 years in the new system.
Wow.
Let me just help you kill. Oh, you have 5 kids. Just wait. I'll kill 2 for you. No. No need to thank me. I just
forget about
finished.
it.
I just finished. You can't remember them. No. Skip along. Welcome to paradise.
Oh, it's just so messed up. And when you talk about it to XJWs is one thing, but when you talk about it to people that were never witnesses, they're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. And you know what witnesses say if they would listen to this? You're taking it out of context.
Yeah, don't. My mom, I can't. She drives me insane. You haven't watched the whole video. You're taking it out of context. You don't. No, I have. I've looked at the context. I know all of it, and it's still messed up.
Yeah. So if there's a Jehovah Witness watching this, please explain what would be the correct context of this, because this is how she described her. Well, you can describe it for yourself. So, what is the context?
This is so me and my friend used to do really long shifts on the carts because we didn't like knocking doors. At least with this, you could kind of stand there, and as long as people don't come up to you, you don't have to speak to anyone. You just kind of just chat, have a coffee. It's okay. So we used to do this for like 4 hours, I think. But I did used to think this, like, we look like twats. I used to think that because it would be raining, it would be snowing. We did it in the snow, and we had like our thermals on and all our layers, looking like freezing cold, but still stood here next to this car. So I'd be like, are we finished yet? We look like idiots. Please, then no one come up to us because I don't actually want to speak to anyone. Yeah, I just didn't. I remember I would do it with my cousin, and I would do it with my best friend at the time. And I think we were all like that. None of us really wanted to speak to anyone. So we just chat between ourselves and hope that no one.
Okay, can you tell me, because I'm so old, so I remember Noah almost. It's I never been in cart witnessing. I just heard my father tell me one day they were out with the cart, and I like, what's that? Because I hadn't been on meetings. Are they supposed to seek eye contact? Are they supposed, smiling and do we are the happiest people alive? Of course they do that. I don't have to answer, but are they supposed to say hello?
Yeah.
What's the deal?
Not say hello. I've spoke to other people though, and they've heard different things. But when I was like trained, because you go through training, only certain people at one point, I don't know if it's changed, could do cart witnessing. Yeah, it's a privilege. So yeah, I don't think you should say good morning unless they do eye contact and like it's natural to. But you should do eye contact and obviously smile. You shouldn't be on your phone too much, even though I saw a picture, I think it was on Facebook, one of the Facebook groups the other day, and it was all of them on their phone. But you weren't meant to do that. But yeah.
Yeah, because I walked past them and I like seek eye contact, and then they look away.
Oh.
Okay, so sometimes women look away, because they are used to protect themselves from guys and stuff like that. But like when you're on a stand, you're like supposed to seek eye contact and smile to people, and
Yeah, you are.
And when we have a Polish group standing in Norway, a Polish stand, and I walk past them and I say hello or good morning in Polish, and they look up from their phone like, yeah, whatever, and just keep.
That's so funny. Maybe they're just like, maybe they're like me. They don't want to speak to anyone. They're like, just keep walking.
They should be kind of happy that their people say hello to you in Polish in
Should.
Trondheim in Norway, because it's like we're Norwegians to begin with.
Yeah, you would think so.
If I would do cart witnessing for the Norwegian congregation in Beijing, and someone walked up to me and say "Morn Morn," I would be like, "Oh, hello, are you Norwegian?" Like, let's take this opportunity and actually do what I'm here for.
You should
I'm
go
in Beijing waiting for Norwegians, and here we have one.
Yeah, that's really strange. That's really weird.
I'm not kidding. They're on their phone. I say hello in Polish. They look up, whatever, down again.
You think they'd jump on it and be like, yes, we have one.
How many people will approach you during an hour in average?
Lucky of one, I think. Usually, the only people that approached us were like other witnesses that saw us and got excited and would say hello, or weird people.
Oh,
usually, I don't think I ever. No, I don't think I ever had an experience when someone came up to me and it was like a nice conversation and they were interested, or I don't think I ever had that. And I was on the cards, like I said, a lot. But yeah, I never really had that experience on the cards. I know others did. Like, you know, when you go back and everyone's sharing their experiences, but I never really got anything.
I hate to break it to you, but those pioneers that always have this wonderful experience that only could be led by Holy Spirit, those pioneers are not exceptional because they have more Holy Spirit. They are exceptionally good liars.
That is true. You know, when someone says a really, like, they make this story and it sounds amazing, I always questioned it. I was like, hey, were you on the same street as me? Like, who are you seeing that has this?
There's a lot of those super witnesses that always on the conventions and telling about, oh, when the angels, and we said, no, it's the last door, and then we have to climb down under, and there was the Hells Angels, and there was this rusty knob, and we pushed the knob, there came out an old lady and said, I have been praying for you. Those people, when I was in field service with them, nothing like that ever happened. But then they would retell stories that I actually so I started believing, you know, they're actually lying. Why doesn't Jehovah see this? And then they actually started telling stories that I was a part of in public with all the Holy Spirit smashed on top of it. And they were like, let's share this credit with Jonas. And I'm like, no.
This didn't happen.
I want a real miracle. I'm holding on.
Yeah, where's the real miracles at? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Never got one.
Okay, so let's see. Now let's put this in the right context, sister. Goat.
Where did I get sister? I should change it to that, sister goat. Okay, so yeah, so carrying on from pioneering, like, you have to be happy. Like, you can't not be happy. You always have to look like you're living your best life and that you're the happiest person ever. So this is a real conversation that an elder, because I suffered with depression for quite a long time, so I wasn't happy a lot of the time. And he said, as a regular pioneer, it's important that you look happy. You want to encourage others. That was my whole life, was because there's not many. When I was younger, there wasn't so many young people, and as I was getting older, there was a lot of young people, and I was the oldest of the young people. So it's like, you're like, everyone's looking up to you. You can encourage them to pioneer and to do all of this. And then, of course, when I'm not happy, I'll just pray about it. You're not praying enough.
Yeah. You'll be happy if you go in field service, and we will motivate you with guilt.
Exactly.
This is why I left. They were guilt tripping my ex, you know, and they were saying, you're not depressed because you're sick. You're sick because you're no longer pioneering. Yeah. And she had MS.
Wow, what?
And they would just drag her out on spite, basically.
Yeah.
Terrible. But this actually happened to me too.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very specific. It's not like you say something, oh, try to smile, we're pushing a product here, smile to the customer. No, I came home from Russian Bethel. I was so depressed and suicidal. It was a living nightmare. And one of the bad thing with Bethel was that you actually had to live under these terrible stress while always pretending that you were super happy.
Yeah, that must be
That's
even
the
worse.
real pain.
Yeah.
And I came back to Norway from the Russian Bethel, and I was so depressed. And the elder said, well, how about Bethel? And I said, like, the nicest thing you could say without lying. And I said, well, there was a lot of human imperfection, and I was treated very bad. And I struggled to forgive and learn from this opportunity of personal growth and blah, 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 something like that. And the elder said, no, you can't say that. You have to say that Bethel is a spiritual paradise, and you should encourage young men to make it their life dream to serve at Bethel.
You have to sell it.
They told me I couldn't say what really happened, and I really sugarcoated it while being societal. No, they said you have to say. And I noticed that all the elders said exactly the same thing. You have to say it's a spiritual paradise and encourage young brothers to make it their life goal. So it came from Watchtower, how they should coach us to smile and say, and that is emotional control.
It is completely.
They want to tell you what emotions you should have that benefits them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they make you into like a robot. You like, this is how you should feel. This is how you should be. This is how you should act. Yeah, everything. Even with my mom. So when you said about having MS, so my mom has ME, which is like kind of chronic fatigue. Yeah. So she doesn't make a lot of meetings. For my whole life, she never really went to the meetings. She does online and everything, or before it was the phone link, she always did that. She's very spiritual. She's definitely fully in. But because she couldn't make all the meetings, she was like, nobody really views her as spiritual at all. And they tried that. They tried to drag her out in the ministry. Oh, if you come on the ministry, you'll feel so much better. It's like, no, she can't even get out of bed, let alone try and go on the ministry, knocking doors and doing all of that. It's just crazy how they think ministry just solves everything. Studying solves everything to them.
It solves all your problems and it benefits Watchtower. And there's nothing else that works and will make you happy. Mm-hmm. So if there's a Jehovah Witness watching this, I would have a question, and you can leave a comment in the comment section and explain this to me. Since the elders manual and all these things say that they should tell pioneers and people come back from Bethels how we should smile and what blessings we should rejoice over and how we should encourage other people, and explain that when you're a pioneer, you're happy, Bethel is a paradise. If Jehovah Witnesses were the happiest people on earth, why would you have to have a manual that tell them to smile? Mm-hmm. If you could explain that to me, please do in the comment section.
I haven't been looking at the comments. Sorry. Hi, guys. I couldn't ignore it. I've been side-eyeing it a little bit. But yeah, I would also like to know.
Let's see what someone said here. No disrespect to the lady being interviewed, but pioneers were the most judgmental witnesses I ever came across, apart from elders on a power trip. Well, maybe we would have respected you if you were a pioneer and, made an effort. Or what do you say, sister lady?
Sister lady. I agree. I like to think I wasn't that pioneer, but who knows? But I agree. I think they were. The sister who studied with me was a regular pioneer, and she'd been pioneering for like her whole life, basically. And she was really just, they all are.
Yeah, but Will McAllister, what were your excuse not to be a pioneer? You can't just walk accusing us of being judgmental when you were working more than 10 hours a week to earn money because you not really love Jehovah.
How dare you make a living?
We're not judgmental, we're just better than you.
Exactly.
Because we're freezing and hungry.
I'm broke. But it's the best life ever.
Yeah, here's someone say, super happy could be mistaken as a false witness. Yeah. If you're happy for the wrong reason, you can't be happy without the governing body.
Exactly. It has to be because of that you're happy.
Did you ever do this? You meet someone in the field service, they're a super nice person, like the perfect Christian, like if you would do a typical Christian, a nice salt of the earth person to say, I pray to God and I know he answered me. And you're like, no, you feel that he answered you, but it's just wishful thinking. But if you have Bible study and you pray that things will go well for Watchtower, then he will listen to you as long as you work to make it happen. When we met a person with faith, we had to explain that their faith was wrong. God does answer prayers, but not yours because of Russell. Did you do that? Or was it only me?
I was a very shy pioneer, so I just kind of did the basics. I remember though there was someone this was always awkward. Did you ever have someone try and invite you to their church? That's always awkward. So you're inviting them to the Kingdom Hall, and they're like, they do an Uno reverse card on you, and they're like, well, this is my church. You can, and then you have to kind of awkwardly say like, we can't, but then why can't you? Because you're inviting them to yours. So it was always awkward. Like, yeah, sure, maybe. Throws it in the bin because it's a devil.
Yeah, I remember I was out in field service. I didn't believe at that point. So it was maybe one of the last or second last time I was out field witnessing with a super, a nice person, but a really fanatic Jehovah Witness, one of those that actually been tortured and sitting in his prison cell and stuff like that.
Oh,
and then he became, an elder in my congregation. And I gave someone a Watchtower, and they gave me a flyer and accepted it. And I didn't believe their leaders. And he was on me, it's been in the literature, we should never accept anything from other religions. I'm like, This sounds like a cult.
But we're giving them things and we expect them to take it.
At that point, I realized the Bible. I don't believe in the Bible. So obviously I don't believe in the Jehovah Witnesses, but I had to go and hand out these flyers once a week to keep them off my back. And then why are we not allowed to read there? It's like a cult. I just discovered they were wrong. It was on my path to discover that they're not only wrong, they are worse than wrong.
Cult was the right word, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Information control. What it is.
So
let's see. Now you explain the context of this one.
Okay, yeah. So this, like I said, when I was younger, I was very shy. I was also very, very insecure. I still somewhat am, but I'm a lot better. But yeah, Jehovah's Witnesses teaching, we are good for nothing slaves, cannot dress at, oh wait, I can't see, I'm too blind, cannot direct our own steps. Women are weaker vessels and not deserving of God's love, but he still gives it us. No wonder we're insecure.
You can't direct your own step. You're a weaker vessel, good for nothing slaves, not deserving God's love.
That was a big one. That last one, not deserving of God's love, but he still gives it us, was constant. I can remember hearing it so often. Like, we don't, my study conductor used to say it all the time. We don't deserve God's love, so he gives it us. So we should be happy. We should be grateful for him that we don't deserve it, but here we are. I'm like, okay, so I don't deserve love. Okay.
Yeah, my parents always like, if you believe you deserve love, you will die. It's called if you explain to a Christian because I don't care if Jesus have 3 corners or 5 corners and a Trinity and all that crap. If I want to describe Jehovah Witnesses compared to normal Christianity, I would say that in the Jehovah Witness Bible, they removed the word grace and replaced it with undeserved kindness, because they will constantly remind you that you do not deserve kindness.
It's true. And then you think that then it stays with you. Like, you don't deserve kindness, you don't deserve love, we're nothing, we're worthless. Like, that stayed with me for quite a while. Because it does, because it's when you're young.
Well, okay, so if there's a Jehovah Witness or a Christian in general watching this, why, if I don't deserve kindness, and why would God deserve worship? I'm not asking for worship. I think I deserve kindness.
Yeah.
And I think
it's not a big thing to ask.
Yeah. I think even God, if he existed, would deserve kindness. But he don't want kindness, he wants worship.
He does. Whole
Please
souls
explain it to me if someone else know how to explain it here. Jonas, right on. Yeah, I think I'm right about that.
I think so. I agree. Definitely.
Because here's the idea. They say, well, God deserved kindness because he created everything. No, it means he was first in time. And they say, well, he's bigger than everyone else. Yeah, why is he bigger than everyone else? It's a choice that someone made. Who made that choice?
Yeah.
He made a choice. Imagine if I would create a person in my image and I say, let's make him small so I can crush him whenever I want. Does that make me worthy of worship?
No way. Not in my books.
Yeah, that's my solid argument. I can crush you. You know that. I created you.
That's it. Fear again.
Small, I chose to create. Listen, I chose you to create you so small so I can crush you any day, but I don't because I'm good.
I could destroy you, but I'm not.
Yeah, and I deserve worship because I'm. Look at me. That's you, and this is me, and therefore I deserve worship. So I want you to be standing on this mountain and sing, Jonas, Jonas, you are great, or I'll kill you.
It's so true.
I don't like that guy.
No, me neither. I would not worship him. Well, I did for a little bit.
I think it's.
I agreed with it. Where did it go?
I have a true worshipper here. I tried not to, and now I'm humming it. Yeah.
Our kindness doesn't cost anything either. That's that.
Okay, so this is. Let's see here. This is you. Hello? Did she freeze? Well, that happens sometimes. Can anyone hear me here? Or am I frozen? The misogynic mindset of the organization is, in my opinion, sickening. Can someone make a sign if they can hear me?
Oh, hello.
Yeah, we can hear. Are you back?
Are we back? I'm back. I don't know what happened.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, I have no idea what happened then. I apologize.
No, it's the Smurfs. It's Jehovah's Holy Spirit trying to work against the apostates, but no weapon formed against us can, because we have cartoons. Please explain this cartoon for us before Jehovah wakes up again.
Before they silence me again. So this was when I was Homie. I always get mixed up. Physically out, mentally in. Yeah. So I would, obviously it was Zoom meetings because this was during COVID. So I would kind of put it on and then leave it. So I went out at one point. I remember I went out for food with my friends and came back. I would go for a shower, but I would always not time it properly. So I would run in and be like, oh crap. And then they will be like finishing in their little break rooms, like, hi, where is she? She her videos not on. Like, what's happening? Quickly turn it on. Check, hi guys.
So this is you.
This is me.
Cover your knees, sister.
How awful. Meeting attire. Everyone does this, though, let's be honest. During Zoom meetings, nobody was wearing pants.
Yeah, my younger brother woke up, and he actually was an interview on this channel for my patrons, only because he's still PMO. He's wrapping things up before they kick him out. So
Yeah.
Watchtower, if you will be one of my patrons, so for $1.44, you get to see the video and you can disfellowship him. So use donated fund wisely in this case. I think it's worth a dollar. But he told me about my other brother that I always thought were a PMO, and he's basically doing the invoices. He's been sitting every meeting doing the invoices for the company. It's kind of really good because I hate doing my invoices. I'm postponing it, and now they have had this wonderful, wonderful, loving arrangement that 4 hours a week you put on a suit, you sit down in front of the computer, and someone makes sure you do your paperwork on time.
Yeah, you've got time to do stuff.
It's like the only time I would have needed to be a Jehovah Witness would be during Corona. But my brother, he is basically, I have the PMO brother, and then the other one is absolutely don't believe. And then I found out another one don't believe. So 4 out of 5 will be disfellowshipped or like really hard PMO within the next 5 years. I think there's a lot of people waking up. What do you think?
There's so many. I'm constantly hearing of new people. There's so many people from my old congregation who have left now, and like we're getting back into contact. It's really nice. Loads of them. There's tons. There's going to be no one left soon. There's so many people waking up. It's brilliant. It's great.
Well, it's good. How do the Zoom week? I never been to Zoom meeting. You just sit there and look into. It's like a normal meeting, but worse.
Yeah, it is. And I was in India at this time. And so they didn't. Every congregation's different. Yeah, but with this one, you weren't meant to have your cameras on. Actually, they wanted your cameras off.
Why?
I think it was so you didn't distract, because there'd be people eating, there'd be people like with children, and their children would be doing stuff. So if you turned off your camera, then you would just see like the speaker, and you'd concentrate more, I guess. I think was the idea. And at the very end, you'd turn on your camera, and everyone would be like, hi, and try to be speaking to everyone, but there's like 50 people on the screen, so no one can hear anything.
Yeah,
they're all just shouting hi at each other, and yeah.
Okay, because I thought the control aspect that like if you're not, I thought how can they not see my brother doing the invoices? But okay, so you can turn off the camera.
Well, everywhere's different. I have heard that some congregations you have to have it on, and you can't not have the camera on. So I think it's all different. But in India, it was, yeah, you could. That's why I could go and do other things, and then I'd just run back for the waving.
Yeah. Okay, then I know better. Maybe you think people were bombing it with JW.fact sign and stuff like that?
Maybe it could. I know that they were very strict with the password, and you couldn't pass on the login details to anyone. You had to ask the elders first, and then you could give it to someone. For that reason, probably. But it
okay, so you were in India now?
Now I'm in England.
England, okay.
But I'm usually in India. I'll be in India next month.
Okay, so just supporting the empire, or were you a Needgreater?
I was for a very short time. I was.
You're pioneering in India.
Yeah, I did.
Please tell us that. There must be some funny stories.
It kind of was. It just everyone. Needgreaters are just a whole extra. That's just crazy. They're very they think they're above everyone else. So there wasn't many Indians in the congregation. there was mainly like Americans, Japanese, European, because we'd kind of just took over. Because I think a few years back there was like a broadcast. In the broadcasting they mentioned India and how there's people need to be preached to in India. So then suddenly everybody went to India. And it was just weird. I think because they're extra spiritual, I guess, it just seems more culty there. Like everyone was just overboard with it.
Everyone was
Overboard with everything. Like
okay.
extra. And more strict, I think, compared to the congregation that I was in England. It was a lot different, but I wasn't there for very long. I didn't do it for, how long have you been out?
How long have you been out? Or should we come to that later? You can give a teaser now and we'll go back to the story in India.
My teaser is that it's difficult to say because it was kind of like a long waking up thing.
Yeah, well, we have a disassociation tonight, so you have to be
sure.
We have to keep some secrets. But doesn't it bother you, or us, like you say, there's a congregation of super white people that want to tell them about our white values and ideas, that, like, it sounds like all the worldly people realize that we shouldn't invade other countries and try to force them to be like us.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually realize that let's give back what we've stolen. And then 50 years later, Jehovah Witness.
There we are.
I have a great idea. Let's teach the black people what they are wrong about.
It did feel really weird. And also because like the Indian brothers weren't really involved. It really was like white people just came and took over everything. So like most of the elders were from America. Like most of the pioneers were from, like, the Indians didn't really care. They were kind of, until we came, they were kind of chill. They were like not too strict with it. They were really laid back. Exactly. And then we came and it was like, we took over everything, and it was really strange. And ministry, you had to be really careful because legally, I'm sure that it's illegal that they're doing that, because I'm pretty certain in India you're not allowed to try to convert people into different faiths. I'm pretty certain, or it's dangerous anyway. They don't like it, especially Hindus. If you openly try to convert someone, you could get beaten up, I think. So you'd be really sneaky about it. Like, it would be on informal witnessing. It's been a bit more now. They've done cards and stuff there now. But when I first went, it was just informal, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no, but did the witnesses ever talk about that? Let's be a brotherhood of equals, and because it's nothing wrong with being white, that's the way. I'm actually a native in my native country, it's not like it's something wrong to be white, and it wouldn't be anything wrong of me to move to another country where people have a different color. But if by coincidence everyone else that moved to exactly the same neighborhood also were white and in a position of power, at least we should talk about it. Like, maybe we could smooth things over, like, just in case.
True. I think it was briefly, maybe. I think, but maybe not so much that. I think it was just foreigners were kind of hanging out together, and they would have get-togethers and things. And I think locals weren't invited so much at the start, and then they were told to, no, you need to invite, you need to mix, and be part of everyone involved. And then then it was a lot better, I think. But that was also just my congregation, because I know my friend that I spoke to, who also was in India, and she knows the congregation there. The congregation that she was in was really strict. So I think it was just my congregation maybe that was a bit more laid back before we got there. But yeah, it was very strange. It was a very weird time. Everyone was always in competition. Like, I've been pioneering for 20 years. Oh, well, I was baptized when I was 10. Oh, I was like, it was always like competition.
All of them had been the star of their home congregation.
Exactly, yeah. And then they came
been
here
on the platform every summer.
Mm-hmm.
And now they were in, you know, the all-American Needgreater congregation of Bombay or something, and the competition was harder.
Yeah, exactly. And you could tell I didn't really like anybody in that congregation. They were all a bit it was very easy to leave. It was very easy to leave when I was there. I don't like any of you.
Well, that was very honest.
They were nice. They were just too much. They were way too much with everything.
Well, you probably wouldn't have liked me either then when I was a witness. I was actually very judgmental because I was really better than most people and knew it. I was probably a self-righteous piece of shit. Let's see here.
Maybe I would do
this.
You know.
Here, what's this?
Oh, this is when we get serious. Okay, so this was when I was 14, I think. There was an elder who wasn't in my congregation. He was in a neighboring kingdom hall, but I got close to his family. He was the same one that because of him I could clean the platform. But I got really close to their family, and then I got really close to him, but I didn't think I was 14, and he was like 40 with 2 kids and a wife. So I just thought, oh, he's like my dad. But it wasn't. It turned quite quickly into something else, and he was grooming me, and he would say things that was weird. And it led to a point where he wanted to leave his wife and run away with me. Yeah,
well,
so
that's a new one.
Yeah, it was messed up, and I was very confused and didn't understand what was happening. And at the time, the elders.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but do you really think he meant that, like in his mind, that he actually wanted to do that, and you would be reinstated later as man and wife?
I honestly don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. So I met with him. I was very naive. I still get very embarrassed. Even though I was young, I still get embarrassed because I'm like, because the elders did make it sound like it was also my fault. And I must have been doing something to make him want to run away with me. And even though I wasn't doing anything, I just thought,
well, you were a child. Even if you did do something, you're legally not responsible for your actions. Legally, literally.
Exactly.
When you're a child.
Yeah.
You can also, as a child, you can run out in traffic and hit a parked vehicle, and it's the guy who owns the vehicle that's responsible for the damage. Yeah. You can run into traffic and hit a parked vehicle, and it's his responsibility. Children don't have that kind of responsibility. It's everything on the man, if there's an elder watching this.
Thank you. Yeah.
Nothing. You didn't do anything wrong, even if you would have led him on. Just to state the obvious fact before we move on.
Yeah, I think I still struggle with that sometimes. It's weird. But nothing happened. We met up for coffee once, and he was very like it went very quickly. The messages from just normal to like romantic and weird. And the elders knew about it, so I said at the time because it freaked me out. But I was still very. I was friends with him. I didn't like him like that, but I was friends with him, and I was still trying to protect him. So I told the elders, but I was very. I didn't say everything. I was very vague with it. I just said he's messaging me, and it's a little bit weird. I think I showed them some of the texts at first, and then nothing. I think I can't remember what happened with it then. And then it didn't stop. He still would message me. And then I think maybe a year passed. And again, I said to the elders, what's happening? But this time I deleted the text, because before I told the elders, I phoned him and was like, I need to tell the elders because this is just weird. It's freaking me out. I don't know what to do. And he said, delete all the texts, because if they see the text, then I can get in very big trouble. But if there's no text, then
so then he threatened you.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And I did. I deleted all the texts because I didn't know what to do.
That's abuse of powers.
Yeah.
Abuse of power, among other things. And blackmail. You know, if you read the Corinthians about the reasons, you know, no one that is this, that, or that should be called a brother, you know. The 3 disfellowshipping reasons. One of them is blackmail. Extortion. So what he did was extortion. They used disfellowshipping as extortion, while extortion is something you get disfellowshipped for. So even if the Bible were true, Jehovah Witnesses do this wrong, because Paul did not use disfellowshipping as extortion. I'm struggling with English today. And that's how witnesses use it.
Yeah, it should. But he
extortion against a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah, I think at 13,
I'm not okay with that.
But yeah, it was. So I deleted them all, but I still went to the elders. And I think he was taken off as an elder, I think, but he's still regular pioneered. And it was very hush hush. Like, I couldn't say anything, but I couldn't contact them. And yeah, later on, so a few years back, I mentioned it to an elder again, and he said what that picture said. But did anything else happen? Because if it did, then it would be affecting your relationship with Jehovah, because you're not saying, and you're lying about it and hiding it. And that's like, it's screaming.
Doesn't make sense because Jehovah sees everything. So why would you need to tell the elders what Jehovah need to know, so they can tell Jehovah if you're a liar or not? Doesn't make any sense. But just if because there's a lot of women, I realize, that being abused and they're told that it's your fault, you're leading them on, or why did you respond to the messages? Just do this mental picture now, that you as a grown-up would run into traffic and kick a parked vehicle. It's still not your fault. Because the legislation works like this. It's the metal is harder than flesh. So it's the person who owns metal who takes the whole responsibility, even if you run into traffic and kick a parked vehicle. So imagine if a child would run into traffic and hit a horny vehicle. It's not the child's fault. It's never the child's fault. You can literally kick a parked vehicle and sue them because you twist your ankle, and you might win.
I never knew that.
No.
Wow. I really didn't know that. That's crazy.
You probably will not win, but from a legal sense, you theoretically could sue them for that. And you would actually have a case, but you hopefully would lose because people use common sense. But the point is, try to keep that mental picture. Just, you absolutely have no guilt in this situation. Let's see. That's what I say. Let's see what witnesses said. What's the context?
So as well as the elder grooming me when I was, I'm not very good with ages. I get confused with age, trauma and all that. But so when I was young, maybe less than 10, I was abused by another sister, a young girl. She was older than me, but she was an elder's daughter. And it's always a similar story. So with that, it was the same thing. So it was my word against hers. She denied it, so it didn't go any further. And I wasn't allowed to say anything. My mum really wanted to tell other parents because the family, her mom looked after a lot of kids in the congregation. So my mom's thinking was she could have abused a lot of children. So my mom wanted to tell other parents, but they said that it would be slander because it's one word against another. There's no proof of it, and also, like, her father was an elder, so it would look bad for him. And then obviously the same with the elder that groomed me. He's an elder. His family's really spiritual. They're all pioneers. So that would be really bad. So I shouldn't speak about that. And then, so when I was a bit older, I was sexually abused by my best friend's stepfather. And then I kind of just didn't say anything. So because of the other 2 times, I said something and I was told to be quiet. So when it happened the 3rd time, I just thought, what's the point? Like, I won't be believed, or I haven't believed and I can't say anything. So I just didn't say anything. And just, yeah. So that's what this is, the like timeline of all 3 of them.
Yeah. So how would you describe this? Do you think Jehovah Witnesses have like it's a safe place for children? Because Jehovah Witnesses are well-meaning. I will give them that. They're well-meaning and they're well organized, so it would be possible for them to have an extraordinary safe place for children. They're well-meaning and well organized. And they have extreme measures of discipline. So if child safety would be their main a big concern for them, you know, do you agree with me? They would actually be able to have a really safe environment for children.
I definitely think they could. I don't think there's any reason why they couldn't, but they just, it's because they don't want to slander God's name. So instead of helping the victims, they try to keep it quiet because witnesses aren't like that, and that doesn't happen in Jehovah's organization because it's the truth and it's the Jehovah protects us, so that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but my point is, if they focus on what's good for the Watchtower brand, will this hurt the brand? Okay, so we're this group of smiling people with happy family life. It would really hurt our brand if everyone knew what I were doing to my family. So we whip them in the back room of the kingdom. No, we whip them at home, and and then they say we don't whip them. We give them loving discipline. They do everything to save the brand.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. If they would say, it would benefit our brand to be exceptionally good at protecting children, they would be.
That's what I don't understand. That's the one thing that I've been thinking of a lot actually lately, that is the one major thing, which is why people are leaving and what the big problem is with the organization. So if they did change that, and if they did put something in place, then more people, I mean, I don't know, more people might stay, or it would definitely be better. So I don't really understand why they don't.
It's the web of lies. If you ever read Watchtower literature, it says if you start lying, then you have to keep lying to cover up for previous lies. And that's exactly what Watchtower have been doing, because they are good people. But in the beginning, they started making this, let's cover this up. This is only time it happened. And then they have to do it. What do you think?
It's true. Yeah, it's true. Because if they suddenly said, oh, okay, and held their hands up now and was like, yeah, we do have like this secret database. If you've watched the Telegraph investigation and things, if they did suddenly say, oh, it's true, we do have this, but we'll work on it now.
Yeah.
They can't.
Because that's actually what the Catholics did. They said, okay, we burned people on the stakes because we didn't like science, and we apologize for that. We were wrong. We were really, 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 really wrong. Watchtower could do the same thing and just say, from now on, We have discipline, and they would have really good discipline. I'll give them that.
Mhm.
It's a choice they do.
Yeah.
To keep covering up.
It is. Definitely.
This web of lies that they themselves describe in the literature. When you start lying, you have to continue lying.
Mhm.
Only way to break that pattern is to break the pattern. The Catholics did it.
Yeah. And I think it's also, they compare themselves, don't they? The amount of people who used to say, oh, we're not like the Catholics. Like, we don't hide child abuse. We're not like Christians. We don't like, they see themselves as higher. So I guess if they do suddenly come out with something that puts them on the same level as all these other religions, they have a can of worms. They have bad things that happen. It might wake people up to it as well. Like, oh, this isn't like the perfect organization. This isn't different to the others.
Yeah, but they don't say that they are good. They say they're exceptional. The whole idea with if you're a Mormon is because Mormonism is not a slightly better religion than other. No, it's supposed to be exceptional. That means they should have exceptional evidence, exceptional nice conduct. Not perfect, but everything should be exceptional. You know, if it's not good enough to have a web page on 1,000 language, it should be every language.
Yeah.
Every. That's exceptional.
Mm-hmm.
Or the bare minimum if you should preach, you know. Yeah. And the child protection, blah, 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 should be exceptional, not, well, the Mormons also have problems, that the Catholics also. No. Mm-hmm. They were not elected by Jesus in 1919. No. Let's see how you explain the context of this.
Oh yeah, so this is carrying on from the last one. So when I was abused by an elder, I didn't say anything for a while, and then in 2020, I video called. So this was when I was in India, and I video called an elder who was back in England, and I told him, I told him what happened, and again, this was kind of a big thing that woke me up. He did say he was really sorry, and he did look sorry about it, but he said it would be best not to say anything and to keep it quiet.
Who's the elder you're talking to? An elder, the elder?
No.
Someone else.
And yeah. So at this point, the elder who abused me, it had come out that he was abusing his stepdaughter. So he was in prison at this point. He'd been in prison for that. So it had already come out. It was a known thing that he was a paedophile. So because it had already affected the congregation and it was a big thing, he said, and it was maybe a year since that had all come out, he said, don't bring it back up again. Like, it will just make things worse. It will affect the congregation more. Just, like, I'm sorry, but don't say anything. And because of, like, when I was young, I was told not to say anything. When I was groomed by the elder, it was don't say anything. And then again, for a third time, it was don't say anything.
Yeah, that's called behavior control. They want to control your behavior, and it's also called information control.
Yeah, it is.
You're allowed to tell them that you're happier as you've ever been as a Needgreater in India. You're allowed to say that, but you're not allowed to say that you were miserable in England because of an elder that's a pedophile. No. It is two sides of the same story, and if you tell the truth, you should tell the whole truth. So maybe you were happy as a Needgreater, but it's still relevant that the reason why I'm happy as a Needgreater is because I was twice as miserable with brother pedophile.
Yeah, exactly. In comparison, then yeah, definitely I was.
That's called telling the whole truth.
Yeah. But that's not allowed. You're not allowed to tell the whole truth. That's too much.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. This is a good one.
Yeah, so like I said, the person who abused me was also abused his stepdaughter. So during that time when it had all come out about her, many people said this to me, many people, about the paedophile, that only Jehovah can read hearts. If he is repentant, maybe he'll survive Armageddon. So at this point, his stepdaughter had left the religion. She was no longer a Jehovah's Witness. So in their mind, she wasn't going to survive Armageddon. But if this paedophile who's abused her is repentant, then he might survive Armageddon. And I didn't understand why people would even say this, even if they thought it. But quite a few people said this to me because they liked him. He was a very loved elder. A lot of people liked him. So
You're a nice child abuser.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's sad that they actually believe, because if parents believe in mythology, that's okay. But the children they have the birthright to leave that religion. Like Jesus left his parents' religion.
Yeah.
Even if he literally had to promise not to do it when he was 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He did it anyway, and he brought a weapon into the temple. You don't need a weapon, a lash. That's a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a weapon to flip a table.
Yeah.
He promised to be the same religion as his parents, and he left it and even brought a weapon to the temple. You don't need a weapon to flip a table. So if Jesus can change his religion, and Abraham could change his religion, and
we're
Charles
trying to get people
could change his religion.
Yeah.
And Rutherford could change his religion every second year, literally. Why do you think your children can't change their religion without dying in Armageddon?
Yeah, it's crazy. And we're trying to get people to change religion. Well, we were. Witnesses are trying
to. This is the same guy.
This is the same.
I was going in the wrong. I was, it was something with the chariot. Let's see here. Yeah, explain this to us. What do you have to say for yourself?
I know. Getting pulled into the back room wasn't always terrifying. It was horrible. I don't know if it was the same for brothers, but for sisters, it was awful. It was horrible being pulled into the back room. But this is, so again, same paedophile elder. So he, at this point, everyone knew he was a paedophile. Everyone knew that he had abused his stepdaughter. I think he was in jail at this point. I could be wrong. But he was disfellowshipped definitely, and he wasn't an elder anymore. But he had seen my Facebook, and it had said that I had a boyfriend who wasn't in the religion. And he screenshotted it and sent it to an elder, who then sent it to an elder in my congregation. And they pulled me into the back room and was like, Cliff, who is the name of him. So they said, Cliff has made us aware that he's seen on your social media that you have a boyfriend outside the religion. We're concerned about you. And I was like, the same Cliff that is a paedophile and isn't even an elder and is a fellowship, but you're still listening to him and still, like, he's still being an elder. He's still trying to be an elder by doing this.
Yeah.
And it was just insane to me. And
he's disfellowshipped. Okay, yeah. From their crazy perspective, he's demon-possessed, terrible person that what? They obviously like the guy.
They do. I think he was very well respected for a long time, and they didn't seem to be able to switch that off, I think, for a while. And because he, obviously no one knew at this point that he abused me. A lot of people still don't. So to me, this was him kind of telling me to shut up. Like, it was like Cliff was trying to kind of get to me through these elders to, like, be like, I know stuff about you.
Maybe he was jealous.
I don't know.
At one point, he wanted to run away with you.
No, this was a different person.
Okay.
There's too many people in this one. This was the one who groomed me, and then the elder who sexually abused me is two different people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were abused by one, and the other one was a pedophile. Okay, I'm starting to appreciate my elders more and more. Thanks, Jehovah, for my elders, because they seem good in comparison.
No pedophiles, no groomers, no. That's good.
Oh yeah, we had a sister that used to groom everyone in the congregation. She was a hairdresser, but other than that, we were kind of safe, I think. So, sorry, but you were going to meetings. Was this in England?
Yes,
or
this
India?
was in England. This was in England. Yeah.
And you were playing house with a worldly boy?
Yeah, I had a boyfriend for a while at this point. So yeah, and I thought my Facebook was quite secure, but evidently it wasn't, and it changed quite quickly after this. But I did lie my way out of this. They didn't they believed me. I was just like, oh, my social media must have just, there's a mistake with it or something, but I haven't. And then it was kind of the end of it, and I didn't hear of it after that. I think they just knew that they couldn't push it, because I was like, I did say this. I said, like, okay, the elder who's a paedophile, like the one that's disfellowshipped, and you're still listening to him. So I think they felt like they couldn't push it because of that.
Yeah, but he sounds like he's good at talking to them, because he can just call them, do the repentant lingo, like dear brothers, or maybe I shouldn't say brother, I've been praying, and there's one thing that's laying heavy on my heart, and I need to share that with you. He could really talk that way. They took him, they used him as an informant, and he was that good that they even mention it to you, and for like, we're liking this guy much, we assume you do the same.
Yeah,
because they spoke to a disfellowship person in jail.
Yeah, they did. He was a very good speaker. He was very good at I mean, even during his conviction, I think he said something like, only Jehovah can judge me now, or something like that. And then so he's very looks spiritual.
Yeah, he sounds like a guy that's good, know how to, what did I do now here? Like, he's good at communicating. I have some problems with my
I can't remember what's next.
See if I can go to the next one here. Yeah.
Okay.
But before we do that, I'd just like to ask, what happened when you go to the meetings while having a worldly boyfriend? Did you like double life, or what was? Did you believe? Yeah. So I have to go to the meetings because Jehovah is real, but I don't care about Jehovah because my boyfriend is also real. Like, yeah. Did you believe both at the same time? You know, the classic cognitive dissonance, or why?
No, I did, definitely. I was very confused for a long time. I actually, so back to one of the first ones we looked at where I was panicking about dying at Armageddon, that became very strong during this time because I believed it and I knew that what I was doing was wrong. So I was still pioneering at this point. If elders are watching this, sorry. But I was still pioneering, and I was dating a worldly person. And in my head, I was trying to preach to him. I'm still with the same boyfriend, but how he stayed with me, I don't know. Because I would preach to him. In my head, I was like, maybe he would come into the religion, and then maybe it would be for a long time. That was my plan. Yeah, for a long time that was my plan. And then I think
your spiritual head.
I never liked that idea.
If you have a difficult question, you could ask him.
Yeah, and he could tell me the answer. No.
Or you could wear a little like this. So.
Do a head covering.
I have an opinion. Could you maybe? That would have been a good. What were you thinking?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think he's very happy that I woke up because my God, he always thought it was weird. He would because I believed it. He respected it. But once I woke up, he was like, "Oh, thank God." He was like, "It's so weird," and then he
Yeah.
could tell me how he really felt about it, and it was great. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking for a while. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not judging. It's just you have this idea when you believe two things at the same time. You believe the religion is true, but it's also not true, and it can just live parallel for years. I did the same thing.
It messes with your mental health as well a lot.
Yeah.
Like it was not a fun time.
I remember as a kid when this happened, the field service was so painful because I had to lie to people. Things I knew as a child was a lie. We had to the meetings. We had to, say that that Jehovah Witnesses beat their kids and they should beat their kids. It's a loving thing to do, and the Bible says so. And then in field service, my father would always point at, well, we don't beat our children. Don't take my fur. Ask my son. And I had to lie and say, no, we don't beat our kids.
I've
And it
never
was
been
so
beat.
painful. And I remember all of a sudden, ding, I believed two things
Yeah.
separately. I believe both things at the same time. Then it wasn't painful to lie anymore. I remember that. That's creepy.
Yeah. It's true though, you do. It's strange how it works. It's really weird. But you have like two beliefs and it's
Yeah, so you had a worldly boyfriend and you might have been kissing him, and then or holding hands or something, and then you go to the meetings and pretend you're all innocent. And you kind of believe both is correct.
Yeah. Exactly.
Ooh.
It was yeah.
You're naughty.
I was. That's why earlier when you were like, "Oh, you were a good witness," I was like, "Yeah, for a while."
Yeah, I'm still a good
It
witness.
went wrong at some.
How Jehovah Witnesses think? Please explain this for us.
Yeah, so this was once I left. So obviously, when you leave, even if you're not disfellowship, there's soft shunning. So they believe that I always have to lean in because I'm blind. If we don't speak to them, they'll come back to Jehovah, and it's a loving provision. It's a loving provision. Yeah, they will realize they've done wrong, and they'll be cold. And this led from I messaged the sister who used to study with me. I messaged her, and her reply was like this: says robotic, cold, unloving, not personal. And she was like my second mom. I called her my second mother for a long time. And I was her adopted ginger child. It was great. But yeah, it was like a switch, it was off, and then it was the coldest reply. And it's how they are. It's like it really is like a switch, and they turn off the love, and it's just until you come back, and then they can turn it back on if you return.
Yeah. And then we all have to hug them and pretend like we really love each other and everything is super wonderful.
Yeah, like the prodigal son returns. You did just not speak to me for years. Welcome back.
Let's see, I have one more here. Satan is testing us. How could she do this to us?
You've learned that I'm blind. Thank you.
Yeah. How could you choose choose religion over your only daughter? So that's your parents?
Yeah. So a few months back, they decided that they didn't want me in the house. So they did. They kicked me out, and I went to live with some friends. Like it happens to a lot of people. It happens. My friend hasn't spoke to her parents for years. Yeah, and I'm not even disfellowshipped. I'm kind of, I don't know what I am. Faded.
Now you'll be disassociated soon.
Now, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, perfect.
So,
yeah, so that's your parents. And how much contact do you have with your parents now?
well, they don't just, I kind of wish they would just cut or decide. So I'm actually back living with them until I go to India next month. Because they keep changing their mind. I think they spoke to an elder and that made them decide to kick me out. And then because I've only got a month until I'm moving to India, I think they just panicked and they're like, we're not going to see her for a very long time. So now I'm back living with them, but it's very not how it was. It's definitely different. They don't speak to me properly. It's quite cold. My mom's always been quite like huggy, and she still is sometimes, but she's definitely off with me. It's not how it was before.
Yeah.
So,
I feel a little bit sorry for them, but it's their choice.
yeah,
Absolutely their choice.
it is.
They
I
could
feel
go
sorry.
to jw.fact and basically just pick the whole religion apart if they wanted to. And if the religion is true, they would not be harmed by information. So it's their choice to choose, because they know deep down that the religion can be picked apart and they're afraid of it.
Yeah, they
Because if
are.
they had faith that this
Yeah.
cannot be picked apart, they
Mhm.
would have nothing to lose to go to jw.org.
Yeah, my mum's like that. I can tell that. So we've had quite a few conversations, and I'm a bit careful with it because I don't want her to kick me out again. We've had a few conversations, and I've got her thinking, and she doesn't have a reply anymore. But she panics, and she'll just be like, "Okay, we have to agree to disagree. This is my faith. You don't have to believe it." But end of conversation. And it's because she has nothing else to say. She's got no reply for me because there's no answer to it because she knows what I'm saying is right. I
So
think deep
they're
down.
soft shunning you now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking strategically. They probably will start hard shunning you, like the day before you go to India, because otherwise, it might seem like you're shunning them, and then they would kind of lose
Mm-hmm.
then the ball would be in their courtyard. So I think they
Yeah,
will start hard shunning you the last day or the last week, so
I
you
think
know
so.
that they're shunning you and not the other way around.
Yeah, so they know that I'm not the one leaving and shouldn't. Yeah, I think so. That's what I'm expecting. That's kind of why.
Yeah.
So with my Instagram where I post these, I used to be completely anonymous. And then after and maybe even a little bit before, I can't remember the timeline, but I think after they kicked me out, I was just like, forget it. And now I post like photos of me and things on there as well. I still use a different name. I don't really know why. I kind of like Annie. So I use Annie on my Twitter and my Instagram. But yeah, I was just like, why am I hiding? What's the point? If they're going to be like this anyway, then I might as well.
It feels good to move on, I would say.
It does. Yeah, definitely.
So this is what they say about you while you're leaving. I heard she left because she has a boyfriend.
I mean,
Well, that's true. Even I know that.
That's not why I left, though. They like to say this whole story of like she left because she's found a good boy and because she wants to be with him. And that's not why I left.
Okay, why did you leave?
Because of all of my experience with child sex abuse and how it's handled and how I've seen other people's stories that are the same as mine. Like how it's handled is how it's handled everywhere worldwide. There's hundreds, thousands of us probably with the same story, and it's just disgusting. So that is like the main. Also, I just don't believe it's the truth anymore at all. But that was the main thing. That was the main reason. How they handle child sexual abuse within the organization. Not even that it happens, because I accept the fact that even in the world and everywhere it happens, but just how they handle it is awful.
Yeah, that's my point exactly. Because witnesses, if they want to do something, they can do it.
Exactly.
They could have the best child protection ever.
They could.
Just from their own strength without Jehovah's help, because they're good people, but they make the wrong choice and you leave now. So if this mythology was correct, if the Jehovah Witness mythology were correct, and you leave because of that, there would be a shitload of millstones handed out in your home congregation, because that's what the Bible says. There's a millstone waiting for, no, something worse than a millstone, but let's say millstone. There's a millstone waiting for basically every governing body member because they haven't fixed this problem, and they could if they wanted to. It's the web of lies that it's a chain reaction that they will not break. They will not make a clean cut.
They won't. They won't. You have way more Bible knowledge than me. I always say this. I pioneered for a while, and my Bible knowledge is zero. I can't remember anything. The only scripture I can remember is like bad association spoils you for habits, and that was like the only thing in the Bible I remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot. It's really bad.
It says your best friend left here.
Yeah, so the same girl who was abused by her stepdad left.
Good for her.
So I've heard a lot that's why I left as well. It's because she left. So but I left about a few, like 2 years, more than that after she did. So I was like, if that was the case, I would have left like the same year, surely. But
yeah, I am, according to my family, I'm a drug addict. I'm addicted to Ritalin.
Oh yes.
Because I got Ritalin and then I became an apostate. So obviously, there's nothing wrong with the Jehovah Witness superstition. No. Obviously, Smurfs are dangerous. That's not superstition. It must be something wrong with him, because doctors prescribed him a very soft medicine that I'm not addicted to in any way. But, it's a good explanation for them to say that, oh, no, he was such a nice brother, but then he got addicted to Ritalin, and they walk around telling that. But the problem with that is not the slandering, because I can take that. But imagine if there's Jehovah Witness children growing up in the same area, and the elders go and say, like Smurfs, it's not been in the literature, it's the folklore. So if there's some child that needs Ritalin in my home congregation, the elders will advise against it because it might lead to apostasy. You see the problem with all these amateurs running around, and the main focus is protect Watchtower brand, protect Watchtower brand. And the need of children is like level 25 because we might lose money in the future. They could have been the good guys. They're really good when they decide to do something. No, there's a millstone for you guys. Or what do you say?
But it's true. If you leave, then you're automatically are addicted to drugs. That's what happens when you leave. So that's always what they say. You're an alcoholic or you use drugs.
What,
always.
What do the A stand for? Teaching children, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So the alphabet, teaching them the alphabet. So this is, so obviously I pioneered for a while, and so that's volunteering. But what I love since leaving is like meaningful volunteer work. Because when you're a pioneer or when you're doing things, there's an ulterior motive. You're doing it because you look good. You're doing it because to get to Armageddon. Like there's a reason for you to do it. It's not because you like doing it and that you want to. Well, most of the time, I know with some people it is. Most of the time, it's not because you care about the people you're talking to. Whereas now, so I do volunteer work in India with dogs, feeding stray dogs, and that just feels so much better because I do it because I actually care about it.
Better feeding stray ducks than than fishing humans, or what Jesus said.
Exactly, way better.
So what you're literally feeding ducks now?
Yeah,
with the old ladies in the park. I'm asking a question.
Yeah, I do. So there's we have a charity now called Stray Blessed. And we feed, because in India it's a big problem. So this is in India.
Okay.
There's tons of dogs that are starving.
Ducks, like the bird.
Dogs.
Dogs. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
I think, why don't the Indians eat the ducks? It tastes good.
I wish it was ducks. I love ducks, but no dogs.
Yeah. Well, if you have a surplus of ducks, give them to me. I would just be happy for 6 months.
No, yeah. So we feed them and we sterilize them, and yeah, it's good.
Okay.
It's really good. I enjoy it a lot more than preaching. It's on a whole
Yeah,
level.
but I like what it says here. It says voluntary work without ulterior motive.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is. There's no ulterior motive to it. It doesn't mean that I'm going to get extra years in paradise. It's just, I care about the dogs, so I do it.
Yeah. No, that's good. So let's see. How do I have more pictures here? Oh, this is the last one. It's the smallest one.
It's tiny. I don't know why it's so tiny.
Here it says, okay, I can read. Me as a Jehovah Witness, that's this lady here with a long skirt, easy to remember. Me, suicidal thoughts, self-harm, and eating disorder. Didn't speak up for myself. Well, am ashamed. That's what.
There's one.
Sorry, I can't read it. Put others before myself. Self-hate. Foot-trapped. Guilt. Say no. Didn't say no. And now it's basically the opposite.
Yeah, basically.
You have a voice and you use it. Do what you want to do. Learning to love myself. You can say no. That's important.
Yeah,
More confident.
Because you can't say no as a witness. You can't say no to ministry. You can't say no to going to the meetings if you don't want to one of the days. You can't say no to anything.
Yeah. So all in general, is your life better or just different? It's not like everything is better just because you leave the cult. You can just join another cult. Is quite common thing to do.
No, there's definitely, obviously there's still bad things that happen even outside of a cult, but it's way better than it was. Like everything, how I am as a person, just life in general. There's bad days still, but it's just way better than it was. You can't even compare it. It's so different.
So I ask everyone who want to disassociate on my channel to pick one scripture that they think describe the Jehovah Witnesses or the governing body or whatever they want in the organization. So, dear sister, if you have your head covering, you can read that scripture to us.
No, I should have brought a head covering.
Yeah. Never mind.
Hand. I'm not very inventive. And like I said, I don't really know scriptures very well. So a lot of people would probably use this one, but I think it's true, which is Matthew 7:15. Is a common one, I think, which is beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves.
Raven wolves.
That.
Yeah. Well, I would understand why you picked that scripture.
Yeah. It kind of speaks for itself.
I actually went up to the Jehovah Witness because they were standing with a cart now, and I took a Watchtower. And then I read, it says on the backside that some people have tried to predict. No, some people have predicted the world's ending, but it haven't come. It haven't come yet. And I'm thinking, who are those some people? Some people, not us.
No, that's some people.
Nah, they are very false prophet at this.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I don't think I believe in the Bible in general anymore, but they are false prophets.
Yeah, they are. So, do you have any greetings to your friends inside the cult? Because they can Google your name and find this and know why you left the religion now. So, this is your last chance to say and give them a message, or women in general that wants to leave the cult, or brothers.
Okay. So I just think
Or
I'm
did you
still.
have some Jehovah Witnesses hidden behind the sofa?
Oh yeah,
can
I
bring
needed to
them.
tell them. Come in, they will come. Definitely. I think they're watching this. But yeah, I think just that I am still me. And that I think when you leave, people think that you change and you're this, I don't know, apostate and you're a changed person. People always say like, oh, she was so nice or she was so kind. Like I am still kind. I'm still nice. You can leave. I think they're coming. You can leave and still be good. They're all here. Hello. Come and say hi. Hello, everyone.
These are ex-Jehovah Witnesses?
They are. Oh wait, they can't hear. Wait, let me unplug this. I can.
Cool. So should we can disassociate her first? Your name was Laura Preston.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a sacred moment. You can see my bald spot now. So Lauren Preston is no longer one of Jehovah Witnesses.
Oh, wow, no, I didn't going to do that. Oh, my goodness me.
Did you feel the spirit?
Oh my goodness.
So
How are
who are the demons coming out of the woodwork here? Please introduce yourself. Legion first. Legion can start.
Yeah, he's out here.
Sorry, say again.
I said, are you the Legion? It's a demon joke.
I am the leader, yes.
Yeah, so tell your story really short because we're
really short. Okay. Well, I was brought up Jehovah's Witness from the age of 5. I'm 51 now, and I'm no longer. Well, I haven't been disassociated, but
we can do it now.
Sorry,
we can do it now.
We can do it now. Should we do it now?
And we can send a link to the elders if you want to. I'm happy with one disassociation, but it would make Satan happy.
We've been inactive and faded for 5-6 years now. Everybody knows that we're. Everybody knows the situation. It's just not official.
Yeah. I woke up in 5 minutes. 33 years of being passionate about it, and then I woke up in 5 minutes.
This is my wife.
Wow.
Yeah. And I didn't know Laura only through the internet, but she joined my charity, and we found out we were both Jehovah's Witnesses. And I just told her a few little things and things to look up, and she wasn't very keen. And I thought I'd give up. And then the next thing I know, she's sending me things, and she's waking up and waking up and waking up.
She's a big fan.
Sure.
Okay, cool. But do you want to tell your story another time, and we can have your disassociation later?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. What should be the theme of that one then?
Well, my daughter, she was 14 and went into care because she disfellowshipped.
13.
It destroyed her life. It
destroyed baptized at 13.
It was a very strict mother. I believe what I was doing was 100% right by Jehovah, but at the same time, I wanted to die. I just wanted to die. And my daughter tried to kill herself 7 times. Drug addict now. And our life, our family's destroyed.
Yeah.
It's very sad. She's 41 now. But it was just dreadful. And I was that mother that, put Jehovah first and didn't use critical thinking, not for a long time. So I have a lot of, I'm very upset.
Yeah.
A lot of guilt. I apologize to my daughter, my grandchildren. I now celebrate birthdays with them. I went and apologized to people I'd studied with. I apologized to somebody I'd shunned. And that she woke up, 81 years old, and she woke up as well. And she just said, she said, I'm so thankful that I know the real truth now. Because she associated for 50 years and was disfellowshipped 3 times. And was just about to come back, and it was COVID, and I knocked on her door, and she said, come in. She said, I've been praying for you. I said, no, I'm not here as a Jehovah's Witness. I'm here to say sorry for all the shunning. And she had me in during COVID. She had me in for a couple of hours. We're best friends. It's lovely.
I did the same to my cousin. I called him and apologized for shunning him for so many years. And the next week he was reinstated. So you had better timing than me. But so we have to come up with a good title. But as a working title, we could say "Woke Up in 5 Minutes," and you can tell that story. Then we have a cliffhanger.
I got two friends. Won't name them. But we want to come out and visit you. Are you in Norway or Sweden?
I'm far away somewhere else. No, I'm in Norway. You're welcome. you just find they're from there are planes to Trondheim from what do you call the airport in London that's not Heathrow, the other one?
Gatwick.
Yeah.
Gatwick.
From Gatwick to Trondheim. That's where I go to when I go to London to protest. I take that one.
But no, we've been following you for a while. We love it.
I love your where you live and all the goats and all that.
Yeah.
So I would come out to Norway and just pop in to see your place and see what's your goat's name? The one that's
there's a lot of goats with different names. The breed is called Boer goat. It's a South African Boer.
Yeah.
Boer
You
like
are
from South
funny.
Africa.
Yeah.
Very funny and very clever.
We love your video. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm happy. But when I say you're welcome to visit, you're literally on, because the way I see it, we're still brothers and sisters. Why should we allow them to take that away from us? That was, except in her congregation and some other congregations, kind of the good thing, the brotherhood.
Yeah.
And why should we allow them to take that away from us? So I see we're still brothers and sisters. And if you don't like it, I forgive you. So, okay, I have to go to bed now. So this was lovely. And we will send this lovely sister, give her my address and everything. And we will have more live disassociations next first Saturday of every month. So thank you very much. And see you in paradise.
Good night. See you in paradise.
Yeah.